If fasting attracts God, why do so many people fast and feel nothing change? Jesus said one mistake cancels the reward, not weak discipline, not imperfect prayers, one misstep that redirects the outcome. In the next few minutes, you'll see what that mistake is and why some fasts produce applause instead of presence. Then we'll walk through how to fast in a way that increases humility and peace within 72 hours. You've seen it. Someone announces a fast, 3 days, 7 days, 21 days. Maybe you've done it yourself. The hunger is real, the headache is real, the schedule changes. And when it's over, life feels mostly the same. The promise that draws people into fasting is this: fasting attracts God and unlocks supernatural power. Moses fasted 40 days on Mount Sinai and received the law. Esther called a 3-day fast, and a nation was preserved. Jesus fasted 40 days in the wilderness before beginning public ministry. Those numbers are not decoration. They mark seriousness and surrender. So why does one person fast and walk away changed, while another walks away irritated, proud, or unchanged? You can skip meals for months and still feel the same. Discipline alone is not the promise. The goal is deeper humility and sharper spiritual sensitivity, not hunger tolerance. Before we explain what blocks that outcome, sit with the tension. You can do something biblical. You can quote the verses. You can feel emotion during prayer and still miss the point. Think of fasting like a radio dial. The signal exists. Static can overpower it. Hunger is not the signal. It is the dial. Something else determines clarity. We'll look at why fasting feels safe and validated, then uncover what drains its reward. The promise remains. The mechanism decides the result. Fasting is biblical. It is not extreme or fringe. It runs through Scripture. Moses, 40 days on Sinai. Esther, 3 days before approaching the king. Jesus, 40 days in the wilderness. These are defining moments in redemptive history. In each case, the fast came at a hinge point. Moses fasted before receiving the law. Esther fasted before risking her life to save a nation. Jesus fasted before beginning public ministry. High stakes, clear purpose. When you fast, you feel connected to something ancient and tested. Hunger sharpens awareness. The body weakens, and prayer can feel more urgent. Many describe increased spiritual sensitivity, as if noise lowers and signal rises. That experience reinforces the belief, this must be working. Often, it is, but intensity alone does not prove alignment. Restate the aim, fasting that increases humility and compassion, not religious identity. Validation can hide misalignment. Scripture affirms fasting, and it also warns that fasting can lose its reward. Jesus says when you fast, do not look somber like the hypocrites. Isaiah 58 describes people who fast while exploiting workers and ignoring the hungry. Fasting is a legitimate discipline. The tension is about why and how. God honors sincere devotion. He rejects performative devotion. Many adopt the behavior, skipping food, but never examine their motive. Behavior without aligned motive becomes performance. Picture 2 people skipping 2 meals on a Wednesday. Person A posts, "Day 1 of my 7-day fast. Prayers appreciated." They check engagement 3 times before noon. Hunger becomes a badge. Person B says nothing. They use the lunch hour to pray for someone who hurt them and donate the cost of a meal to a local pantry. Same calorie deficit, different direction. Public visibility shifts the reward center. The brain is wired for social affirmation, and spiritual acts can become identity signals. The fast can feed ego instead of starving it. Think of a sealed letter. It opens only when addressed correctly. Fasting is the envelope. The address is the motive. If the address is wrong, the letter does not arrive, no matter how sincere the effort. Or think of fasting as a scalpel. In trained hands, it heals. In careless hands, it wounds. The tool is neutral. Intent and precision determine the outcome. Ignore this, and the effects build. You may fast more often yet grow more judgmental toward those who do not. You may feel spiritually intense but become brittle in relationships. You may measure devotion by deprivation instead of love. Fasting is safe in design. That does not guarantee it works in practice. We'll return to a 2-4-hour hidden fast experiment at the end. First, consider the severity of Jesus' warning. In Matthew 6:16-18, Jesus says when you fast, do not look somber like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces to show others they are fasting. Truly, they have received their reward in full. That phrase matters, received their reward in full, not partial, full. Applause replaces intimacy. When sacrifice pairs with visibility, the brain tags approval as success. The verdict rests on motive, not calories skipped. Make it concrete. A 7-day fast. On day 2, you post, "Pray for me," pushing through a spiritual fast. You receive 47 likes, 12 comments, 3 private messages saying, "You're so disciplined." Dopamine rises. Social reinforcement follows. Hunger pairs with admiration. Public signaling rewires the reward center. The brain links sacrifice with status. The behavior shifts toward maintaining image instead of seeking God. You begin to optimize for visibility instead of intimacy. Or a church leader announces a corporate fast and repeatedly references personal intensity. "I'm on day 5, no coffee." The room admires. The leader feels validated. The internal question shifts from, "Is my heart softening?" to, "Do I look serious?" Over time, identity fuses with image. The hunger remains real. The schedule still changes, but the audience shifts. Think of fasting as a direct deposit. There are 2 routing numbers, human recognition or divine reward. The act is the same check. The difference is the account it enters. Once deposited, it cannot be moved. Jesus is not criticizing discipline. He is clarifying destination. Do not turn private surrender into a public signal. If the audience is people, the reward is temporary. If the audience is the Father, the reward is eternal. Next, notice the distortion pattern so you can interrupt it in real time. The pattern is micro-signaling. You do not announce the fast, but you sigh at lunch. You do not post publicly, but you mention, "I'm not eating today." You adjust your tone. You signal sacrifice. Behavioral science calls this impression management. Small cues to shape perception. Hunger lowers willpower. Lower willpower increases desire for quick reward. Quick reward is social affirmation. Unchecked, this grows. Day 1, subtle signal. Day 3, story shared. Day 5, identity forms. I'm the disciplined one. Month 6, fasting becomes part of your brand. Now it is no longer a tool for humility. It props up ego. Over time, you need longer, harsher fasts to feel validated. The external escalates to maintain the same internal payoff. That is a dangerous loop. Now the experiment. A 2-4-hour hidden fast. Skip 1 meal, tell no one, not your spouse, not your church, not your friends. During that time, do one hidden act of generosity connected to the hunger you feel. If you skip lunch, give the cost of that meal away quietly. If irritation rises, use it as a cue to pray for someone who frustrates you. Tonight, measure 2 things. Did my compassion increase? Did my need to be seen decrease? That is your scoreboard. If humility rises and self-focus drops, the signal is clearing. Extend to 72 hours only if the motive stays clean. Jesus says you can fast and receive your reward in full, and it can be the wrong reward. Applause now, emptiness later, secrecy now, depth later. If no one ever knew you fasted, not your spouse, not your church, not your friends, would you still do it? Your honest answer decides where your next fast will be deposited.